Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable six-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. Hey, my sweet friend, Melanie here. I have a couple of questions for you. I want to ask you if you are struggling at all with overwhelm, feeling like you need to be in a million places, not having enough time. Maybe you struggle with feeling like you're not good enough. Or who am I? Who am I to be sharing this with my audience? That imposter syndrome that a lot of us struggle with. What about just knowing what the next step is you should take in your business? Does any of this resonate with you? If so, I'd love to invite you to Creatives on Fire Insiders. This is an amazing group of creatives who are finding success and growing their businesses together. It's designed to stop the overwhelm, to build your confidence, and to guide you through the next steps you should take in your business. A lot of our focus inside is on video and live video specifically, how to get good at it, how to really capitalize on the time that we spend in our businesses. If this sounds like anything that interests you, come spend some time with us, because let's face it, who you spend your time with matters. Check us out at creativesonfireinsiders.com. We'll see you there. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, my special guest is Miss Chelly Ontis with We Can Make That. And she has an awesome product that she's come up with to help all of us grow our businesses to a six-figure following. Chelly, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Melanie. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here too. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey that got you to right where we're talking about.
Sure. So I started We Can Make That, which is a website, a blog, which helps crafters with their digital files. So if you have a Cricut, a Silhouette, maybe even a Glowforge or something on that line, you can download our files. We have subscriptions, and that's what I like to call my side hustle. During the day, I'm also a graphic designer, and I help local businesses with their marketing, which this is my 25th year. I had to get out the calculator and do the math, because I'm like, how do I have a business that's 25 years old?
That's awesome. That's because you're 27.
Right. Exactly. I started when I was 2.
Yes, that's right.
So when juggling those two, as I started the blog in 2016 and found a Pinterest pin and thought, oh, that'll be fun. I want to make money while I sleep. Well, it's so much more than that, as you very well know, right? So in that process, trying to figure out how I do, I call my day job with the local clients and then my evening job, which I try to fit them all in during the day, but making them mesh and making sure that I'm on top of both of them. I started to try every planner out there known to man and just couldn't find one that helped organize everything.
So that is your entrepreneurial planner that I wanted to share with everyone. It is an amazing product, and Chelly's going to tell us a little bit about it and how it can best benefit us.
Yeah. So I was kind of deep diving there, and I don't want to get too detailed about my own business. So how does this work with your business? So if you have a website, if you have an Etsy page or an Etsy shop and social media, it becomes just chaotic. And then I think we all feel like our social media is running us instead of us running our social media. So that was kind of the basis behind it. Is there was key things we should be doing every day, and there's key things that we don't need to be doing quite yet today. So putting all those prompts in there, and that's what the benefit of the planner is. I love to say that our brains are made for ideas and not storage. So it's like when somebody says, what did you have for breakfast? Well, I know I had breakfast, but sometimes you have to pause and think, did I have breakfast? So again, if you could just look at your planner and say, okay, today is, I need to do my reel, and I need to make sure that my email campaign is going out, and, my new content, and I make sure I'm creating new content today so I have something to post about tomorrow. So all of these prompts that are built into the planner just help you organize that and help you take your customers on a journey until they buy from you.
I love that our brains were made for ideas and not storage. That is exactly right. Especially as creatives, wouldn't you say?
Right. Yeah. And that's why we're always losing our keys, right? Like, I know I just had them. Or our masks now. It's like, I know I
Our
just had mine.
sunglasses.
Yes,
Our
and
sunglasses.
sunglasses. And then we find them on our head, but that's another story.
Yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about this product that you came up with, which I'm assuming was originally just a solution for yourself.
It was. And I was telling a friend of mine about it. And she works with brides in the DIY community. So they're creating their own wedding. And then she's helping wedding pros grow their wedding business. And I was telling her, I got this down and it seems really helpful. So I sent it to her so she could try it. And she's like, you need to do these. Like, you need to publish these. And I'm like, I'm a graphic designer. I'm over here hiding behind my Cricut and my digital files so that I don't have to be out in the world and do lives and all that. And through some encouragement, through other friends and business friends, I guess would be the best way to put it, it was like, okay, I'm going to publish this. So I did a very small amount and they sold out right away. And I was like, okay, I'll do a few more. And that was 2018. And then now I self-publish them with a local print shop every year. So now we're knee deep into 2022.
I know, 2022. Wow, it just sounds even strange to say. So tell us a little bit about, I know that we're audio here, but tell the listeners in the best way you can, like walk us through what it is.
All right. So the first page, that when you open it up, there's a little welcome and tells you where you can find some tutorials, because it does come with video explanations on kind of every section of the planner. And then I want you to use those, watch those, and then make it your own. So what works for Chelly might not work for you. You might have a better idea, or you might say, I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm going to focus on this part of the planner. So there's that on the page one. And then the second, real start of the planner has a full year view. So it's got a little box for every month. And then what we want you to walk through and say, okay, I'm going to do graduation in May. I'm going to do a Black Friday special in November. And then the summer, when it's slow, when my handmade products aren't doing as much in, June or July, I'm going to jump in and figure out how I'm going to do an email campaign. I don't have email set up for my business. So I'm going to spend time focusing on that. So that's what that first page is about, to help you organize what you're doing when. And then the next page, there's a full month view, and then there's checkboxes on there so that it'll tell you, did you do some affiliate sales this month? Did you create new content? Did you organize your topics for your live? And I have a little video where I sit down and I go with, I call it a CEO date. So I go to lunch somewhere. I have to get out of my office because there's too many distractions. And then I sit down and I map out my 4 topics for the month. I map out, or 5, depending on the month. And then I map out the next digital files. So I know exactly what SVGs we're doing for the Cricut that month. And then we have Friday Fun Day, which is an email that goes out. And sometimes it's a free SVG. Sometimes it's a coupon. Sometimes it's, just other collaboration things or some other fun offer. So we sit down, we map out those. So now within 45 minutes, and I got to eat my favorite mac and cheese at Panera, I now have my marketing plan for the month. And then I step into the next couple pages, which are weekly views. And it goes from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. There's little checkboxes for your social media, which if you're scheduling, you can just use those for your reels or your stories. So you make sure you got those marked off your list. And then there is full day for Saturday and Sunday, which a lot of planners have them combined into a little 3-inch space.
But we all know we work all days of the week, right?
Right. And if it's your side hustle, that can be your work week per se, is just those 2 days. So, and if you have kids, then you still have room to put in, Sally's soccer games and that kind of thing. And then also on this page is what I call the marketing column. And that's where you're going to have note about maybe your weekly goal. There's a spot for your live topics. So you can make a little list where I'm going to go live, but I have to go get that burlap ribbon. When I'm out picking up Sally from soccer practice on Thursday, I can make sure I grab that. So it helps you stay more efficient. And then there's a spot for new content or just notes, and then repurposing your old content. So there's a little marketing section in there that will help you stay on top of it. And then the email campaign. I think I said that too. So that's how the planner works. So it doesn't take you long. They're dated so that your creative brain doesn't have to count from 1 to 365. Because I always have too many other things to be doing with my day. So they are dated, which is nice. And then I think that's about, I could talk forever about it.
That is an amazing visual walkthrough I think it really, 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 really explains it really well. And I was actually physically looking at mine as you shared it. And it was to a T. It's almost as if you created it yourself.
Right.
So I personally love your planner. I think I got one of the first ones. And
yeah, I think
I've used it every single year. Like it's just my creative planner Bible. I mean, I definitely have schedules and plans and goals like all over the place. But this is the one place that I go to for that physical writing it down at a glance and literally planning, because every single thing else I have, whether it be a digital calendar on Google or a prompt somewhere else, is just for that day or that moment. And this is something that you can literally sit down, like you said, and take that time away to plan out your month and then plan out your week. And I love that it's tailored to social media specifically, because social media is where we get bogged down. And that is where we end up feeling, like you said, that it's running us instead of us running it. And with your entrepreneurial planner, we are able to actually take charge of it. And like you said, plan out those live videos, know what it is that we're going to need on hand, plan out those emails, because sometimes we don't want to do our email. And, but you can have it already written and planned out so that it takes that thought process out of it. When you actually get to the day that it has to happen, you've already done the hard part. I love it.
Yeah, because so many times we think, oh, I want to grow my social media, or I want to make more money selling my products. And then what do you do with that? You have to have detailed things in your planner. So like Monday at 9, from 8 to 9 is my, coffee power hour, I call it. And that's where I sit down and I deep dive into Pinterest. Like, what was really working on Pinterest? What do I need to get my Pinterest manager to help her get to the next step? How can I create a couple graphics and throw, because as Chelly, the graphic designer, can't hand off that part, although that's probably one of the easier things to outsource for a business owner. So I have to sit down and create some of those and then get them to the team. And then we recycle that content. So especially now with Reels on Facebook, we make it once and use it 4 times, but now they're all, now it's organized. So they're not seeing, this product or that product, and then they're not sure where to go next. So they're seeing me make the product. They're seeing me talk about the product. They're seeing the finished product and then the sale of the product. And by the time the sale of the product drops, they can't wait to get that. I mean, they know exactly what it is, even if they didn't interact. And I think that's a huge part too, is we spend so much time on how many people like that photo, how many people shared that photo. But at the end of the day, people are clicking less, I think, because there's so much.
There is. And speaking of clicking, do you want to share with us, because I think this is so awesome and key, that you actually have a group that is around this planner that you've created in order to support those who are investing in your planner?
Yes. So we have, I have a branding course too. And if you've been through one of my courses, they're smaller courses, but sometimes people have questions. I try to answer everything, but then between that and the planner, I just wanted a place that they could go in, and it's full of creative business owners like us, and they're doing things. They probably have ideas, or they tried this with the planner and that worked well. But inside the guides or units, I think they're guides now, right? There's videos where they walk you through, like I said, they walk you through all those. And then if you have a question, you can post about it.
I love that. And so tell us a little bit about, I know you were telling me this before we started recording, some of your success stories from other people.
Sure. So I have the one that I just told you about, because we talked about that on the podcast. See, this is why our brains are not made for storage. So I talked about how easy it was to 6x my website traffic. And then with Michelle from bridepath.com, she started to use it and ended up 100 times her Facebook page. And that's not a typo. That wasn't a blubber of Chelly speaking too fast and not keeping track of her words. Like, just being consistent is such an important part. And there's so much to remember now with all the different things we need to post. Another person started using it, and she is a Pinterest manager. She started using it for 1 week, and she sent me a message and said she cannot believe how she is 100% more productive and the hours in her day she got back because she's doing the things that matter. And I think that also comes from on the monthly view, you get, we want you to track your stats. So what was your engagement rate on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever it is? So there's little boxes, you can put those in there. And there's even a blank one. So if you want to add, your TikTok or your YouTube, but there is a Facebook, Instagram, a Pinterest, website traffic, and email spot. And I spend about 15 minutes. I grab my phone, I pull those up, and I put my stats in there. And then I look back about what did I do that week? So I'm not making decisions emotionally. One of my words for 2021. I never know what year it is because I'm always talking about planners before and after. And so my word was data. So I am not making decisions on how many likes I got on that photo, but how many times did I post? What did I post about? How many times did I go live? How many emails did I send? And then what kind of return? And I tell you, it's added a crazy amount of dollars to my business. So this is something that somebody in a corporate office didn't put together and said, this is what they need, because we know those people don't know what we need. Yeah, Melanie's shaking her head. So it's something that will help you make those decisions and take that emotional part about it, because mindset for entrepreneurs is probably 90% of your success. If you think it's working or you think it's not working, that's going to end up on your bottom dollar.
I know. And I love that you said that it's made by a creative for creatives. And that is exactly right. And when I first ever got my hot little hands on this product, I was blown away because I'm super duper 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 picky. And I just found that I utilize every single checkbox, every single page, every single section for my personal business. And if there's anything whatsoever that doesn't pertain to my business, I literally repurpose it for something else that does pertain to my business. And it's so easy to do that. And I found that when I first ever got the planner, probably 3 or 4 years ago, I noticed there was maybe something that I was not currently doing. And I feel like back then it might have been email. And I thought, but when I kept seeing it come up every single week as something I'm supposed to be doing, it really inspired me to get on board with putting that in place, because these things that you've created and put specifically on purpose into your planner are to help us. And maybe there's a Pinterest checkbox, and maybe you haven't started Pinterest yet, but this planner will inspire you to do so because it's on there every single week and you know that it's important. So I love that about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of an encouraging business partner. It's your VA because it has everything organized for you. And there are a couple of accountant sheets, I guess you'd call them. So in the back, the last 4 pages are trackers for each quarter. So you can say, here's my total advertising expense. Here's my total Etsy shop. And then you can kind of see at an overview, because I'd love to go back and look at those numbers. I have a drawer at my desk where I keep all my old planners because they are about the size. I don't think we talked about this, but they're 8.5 by 11. So the size of a computer paper, I guess, would be the best way for those, or a notebook. So if you're going places, or it's not one of those things that you have to do some weightlifting to carry around with you, and it folds over because it's spiral bound, so it fits on your desk really well. And then our covers are actually the tear-proof paper. So a friend of mine, she calls it her latte-proof paper because she spilled her latte on it, and she said it just wiped right off.
That's so funny. I collect mine too, Chelly. I love them. I have them all because it's fun to look back and be like, oh yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. And like you said, for repurposing purposes, it's perfect to keep them and look back. What did I do fourth quarter last year? And how did it work? Because if you've recorded your numbers like you're supposed to, then you'll have them all there and you can see what worked and what didn't.
Yes. And if you're launching something, then you can go back and say, okay, this week, 2 weeks before the launch, here was my email topic. And, when you're going through your Pinterest and your emails and your Facebook and your Instagram and your it gets a little overwhelming. You forget what you were doing. But if you can just go look at those, 4 weeks in your planner and see, here were my topics, here were my lives, here was my end result. And you just replanned your whole next launch with, the flip of 4 pages.
I love that. So Chelly, tell us a little bit about where we can find you online.
Sure. So at the website, wecanmakethat.me. Then if you go /planner, you can see all the details about the planner. If you're a crafter, come craft with us too. And we have a free shipping coupon for the listeners. So we can put that in the show notes, but it's SCRUSH !22. So I'll make sure that I get that over to you so you can put it in the notes. And if you're on Instagram, I'm at iDesign by Chelly. And Chelly is CHELLY.
I love it. I love how you spell your name.
Thanks. It's short for Michelle, which now.
There you go. That makes total sense now.
Right. So if I say that, then people remember, because otherwise they're like, Chelly? No,
oh my gosh.
Chelly, like Chevrolet, but
that's funny. Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing all about your amazing product with us. I can't wait for the listeners to get a hold of one.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and it's good to catch up and see you again. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.